Hello everyone, how are you all? Today we are chatting about Scotland's national animal. He's looking at me, isn't he? So how are you all? Hope you're all happy and healthy and safe out there, wherever you are. As you've probably guessed, it is a home video this week. Unfortunately, just things got on top and I've not been feeling 100% this week, and the weather's been awful. The weather's been awful here right now. In fact, we had thunder snow here in Edinburgh last night at 5 in the morning. Everyone in Edinburgh woke up and went, oh. It was quite a thing. It was loud. It was really loud. But yeah, so it's just been a week where I haven't been able to get into the centre of town and get out and film anything out with, and the weather is awful. So I thought we'd do a little bit of history from home, talking about our national animal, the unicorn. So this might seem like a random national animal for us to have, considering it's apparently mythical. But I think we all know that it exists in certain places. Now, there's a story that I always love. It's not a story; it's a joke that I remember reading one day, and I found it. You know, sometimes a joke just tickles you, and you're just like, "That's brilliant! That's brilliant! I love that! It was so funny." And it was sort of like years ago. I don't know, say the King of England, King of Scotland, King of Wales all got together and all went, right, the King of England went, right, I think we should all pick our national animals. And the King of England, I'll go first, lion. Very quickly the Welsh went, dragon. Oh, no, wait, you can't do that. And Scotland went, unicorn. So just this image of someone thinking, I know, I'll pick the best one, lion's the best one, and then the other two countries going, I'll have a dragon, I'll have a unicorn. It really made me laugh, that sort of image there. Anyway, so our national anthem is the unicorn. It's a funny sort of background. There's bits and bobs, but there's no real reason for it being a unicorn. King James II loved the myth, the legend of the unicorn, and went, that's our national animal. Now, I have read in other things as well, excuse me, that the unicorn is the natural enemy of the lion. Now, that's a funny bit of history to read, because obviously, historically wise, Scotland and England in the past didn't have the greatest relationship. There was battles there and everything like that. So was it? I read that the unicorn is the is the natural enemy of the lion, and then the two countries embraced them, or is the unicorn the natural enemy of the lion because of the two countries fighting in their past? It's a chicken and the egg situation there, you know what I mean? So I'm not quite 100% what came first, but it's funny when you look at the history of it, and the unicorn itself is symbolised in many different ways throughout Scotland. Obviously, you will see it on the Scottish national crest. It's on the British national crest, which actually, when I was reading about this, is very biased towards Northern Ireland and Wales as well, because it's got a massive lion, it's got a massive unicorn. I don't see a dragon. You know what I mean? The Welsh aren't represented in there. And as far as I'm aware as well, the national animal of Northern Ireland, I think, is the Irish hare. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what it is. And again, I don't see an Irish hare in there either. So the unicorn and the lion are very well represented in there. And it's not on other sort of ways. There's other bits of funny history in with it as well, the unicorn and things. Let me show you something. This is my passport, or at least the front of it. There's this is the British crest. There's the unicorn. There's a lion. That is lions again. That is the crest of England, there and there. there is the lion rampant, which is Scottish royal crest. That harp represents Wales. There is no, as far as I'm aware, I could be completely wrong, and please someone correct me, much representation of Ireland. Given this isn't a big picture for me to be looking off, there are flowers down here. There's a chance that that's supposed to be a clover. Not very much, not the greatest representation in many aspects. So it is very unfair towards the two other countries in Britain, Wales and Northern Ireland. You will also notice that there is a chain on the unicorn, and the crown is round the unicorn's neck, almost putting it on a leash, and where the crown is on the lion's head, and the crown there is round the unicorn's neck and on a chain. So the symbolism in there is a bit odd, a bit funny. You know what I mean? It's not. It was created in a different time. I suppose is not an excuse for anything nowadays, but you know what I mean. Going back to the unicorn in the Scottish culture, it's in there. It's not just random, it is in there. In Celtic culture, there's a unicorn with its white horse-like body and single spiralling horn. The unicorn is a symbol of purity, innocence and power in Celtic mythology. Legend also tells that their horns can purify poisoned water. Such is the strength of their healing power. That to me is quite interesting, because Scotland in itself, and Edinburgh is, and I know Edinburgh again, and I'm showing my lack of knowledge about the rest of Scotland a little bit, but we are known for what's having soft water. It's something that my dad used to always say and be proud of. The water here is from the taps. It's lovely. It's beautiful. The tap water is beautiful and soft and incredibly beautiful and tasty and clean. Whereas I remember when I lived down south in London, the tap water is hard water. It's not nice. The tap water is not nice, or at least it didn't used to be 20 years ago when I lived there. I'm sorry if you live in England or London and the tap water is better now. I'm happy to be corrected. But so that idea of the purifying poisonous water and things like that, it's completely random and completely off topic, but for me that fits with the area, at least here. So I like that. It's something that's actually nothing really, but I like it. This has all been taken off the National Trust of Scotland's website, and I will leave a link in the description so you can go see the page for yourself. But it also says, these proud, untamable creatures are fierce, independent and famously difficult to capture or conquer, which will sound familiar to anyone who has read the Scottish history. Even though unicorns are mythological, Scots have always felt drawn to what they represent. Again, that makes more sense. When you really start to read the history of it, that makes more sense. That fighting spirit, that difficult to capture spirit, the mythical, they're running wild, you can't capture them, you can't tame them. And if you look back at the Scottish history with Hadrian's Wall and the Celts and the Picts and the Romans not really going past, well, they did actually pass Hadrian's Wall, but there's another wall higher up that they didn't really get past, right up to the Highlands and things. But you know what I mean, there's that sort of fierceness and determination not to be beaten, which rings true with the unicorn a little bit as well. I know this is a bit different, this video, than normal, but we're just chatting. Is that okay? We're just having a conversation. You okay with that? Because I'm just rambling. I hope that's okay. Are we okay? Good. Okay. According to the National Trust of Scotland, when did the unicorn become the national animal? The answer to that question lies in heraldry, the age-old practice of designing and displaying coats of arms or crests to distinguish between groups of people. Armies or institutions using heraldry as our guide, we can see that the unicorn was first introduced to the Royal Coat of Arms of Scotland around the mid-1500s. Prior to the union of the Crown in 1603, our coat of arms was supposed to be 2 unicorns. However, when King James VI of Scotland became King James I of England, King James VI, who was Mary Queen of Scots' son, was the king that joined the 2 crowns together. Mary Queen of Scots' son, because Queen Elizabeth I, a little bit of history for you all, Queen Elizabeth I had no children. There was no heir. She was the daughter of Henry VIII. There was no heir to the throne directly. So the next in line, because royals bred with other royals, the next in line was King James the Sixth of Scotland, who then became King James the First of England and joined the crowns together. That's how that happened. So where was I? Yes. Who replaced one of the unicorns with the national animal of England, the lion, as a display of unity between the two countries. So that was King James. That was King James that did that, and that's interesting. I didn't know that. Of course, folklore fans will know that lions and unicorns have always been enemies locked in a battle for the title of King of Beasts. So there you go. Maybe that's where that came from. Maybe it's not just, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's not. It's interesting though. It's very interesting. It's also got here that an interesting thing to note is that the Scottish unicorn in heraldry are also shown with gold chains wrapped around them. This is what I was saying earlier. Why, although we don't know for sure, it's believed that this was a way of showing the power of Scottish kings, that only they had the strength to tame the untamable. That must be why it's a crown round the neck on the crest, because the Scottish king has used his crown and a chain. I know this has been a bit of a different video this week. It's really just sharing a random bit of Scottish folklore, Scottish history. The unicorn is a unique symbol to have as a national animal, and I have to say I love it, because the unicorn, when you see it in images round about Scotland, you'll see it in statues and images everywhere. It's a very proud animal, proud, majestic animal. Very different from this guy right here, who I have borrowed off my daughter. But it's okay, she's only 9 weeks. She doesn't know this exists right now. So when you're here, make sure you try to take note. You'll see the unicorn, especially in Edinburgh. You'll see it all over the place. It's a random thing to be proud of, but I do like it. I do like it. And I've only known it as a national animal probably for only a couple of years, really, since I started delving more into Edinburgh history with the channel. And it's one of these facts that I like to put out there. It's one of these random things that I like to say, do you know? Yeah, because I think when you look at Britain-wise, and I'm not saying this to you around the rest of the world, you probably don't know it as well as we know it here, as I'm sure you're more familiar with your national animals, way more than I am. The dragon is something that the Welsh really embrace as their national animal, and it's always out there, which again is brilliant, but we don't as much, you know what I mean? As far as I'm aware, the unicorn really isn't represented on a national strip, a national uniform of any sort, but it is our national animal and it is out there, and it is something that I like. Again, randomly different video this week, guys, just because I haven't been able to get into town. I hope this has been okay. Please let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know what you think about the national animal of Scotland. I'm interested to know, you know, I get, having read the history with you there, guys, I get it. I understand why we would embrace that animal as a national animal, going with its mythology and its character and its legend. It fits. I think it fits. But yeah, so there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Wherever you are in the world, as always, keep yourself safe. Please remember to hit that like button, leave a comment, and if you don't mind, please remember to subscribe as well. It would genuinely mean the world. But wherever you are, keep yourself safe out there. Till next time, bye humans.